Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am your teacher Naveed Anjum Naveed with another lesson of grammar. Today I brought the last episode of pronoun. Today's lesson will be the final nail in the coffin of pronouns. We'll be discussing interrogative, distributive, demonstrative and reciprocal pronouns. At the end of the lesson you'll find a comprehensive activity on pronouns. So first, interrogative pronoun. Interrogative pronouns are question words used in place of nouns to ask questions about them. Let's have examples. Who, whose, whom, which, and what. We have already seen these words used as relative pronouns also. So how to tell whether a WH word is a relative pronoun or an interrogative pronoun? The difference is very clear and very simple. Relative pronouns and interrogative pronouns have got entirely different functions. When these words are used as relative pronouns, their purpose or their function is to add more information about the noun for which they have been used. They are used to tell rather than ask. When the same words are used as interrogative pronouns, they are asking for information. They are not adding more information. They are used to ask questions. There is another tip based on Urdu translation. If you remember, I gave you that tip in relative pronouns also. When these WH words are used as relative pronouns, the first letter in their Urdu translation is always Jeem. Jo, jisne, jise, jiska. When the same words are used as interrogative pronouns, the first letter in their Urdu translation is Kaaf. Kaun, kiska, kise, kya, etc. This is the difference. Now we'll see them used in sentences. Who is singing in the bathroom? This word who in this sentence is interrogative pronoun. We'll first try to prove it as a pronoun. And one way to do so is we'll make a simple answer to this question. Suppose Ahmad is singing in the bathroom. So Ahmad is the word for which this word who has been used in this sentence. And we know that Ahmad is a noun. So that makes who a pronoun. It's a word used in place of a noun. But it has got another function also. It is not simply being used in place of a noun. It's also asking a question about the same noun. And that makes it an interrogative pronoun. If we look at the sentence carefully, we'll find that who is also functioning as the subject of this sentence. And we know that subjects and objects have to be either nouns or noun equivalents. And pronouns are noun equivalents because they are used in place of nouns. Look at the next example. Whom did the captain see in the fields? Whom is the interrogative pronoun in this sentence. Let's try to see which role or function it has got in the sentence. What's the verb in the sentence? It's see. Who saw? The captain. So captain is the subject. Whom did he see? We don't know. And we are using this word whom for the person whom the captain saw in the fields. So this time it's the object of verb see that was unknown, and we are using this word whom in place of that noun, in place of that object, to ask a question about them. So whom is an interrogative pronoun. It has been used in place of a noun, and that noun was the object of verb see, and it's asking a question about that noun also. So it's interrogative pronoun. Whose house caught fire? Suppose Ahmad's house caught fire. So we know that whose has been used in place of Ahmad's. Ahmad apostrophe S. Noun in possessive case. So whose has been used in place of a noun in possessive case. And at the same time, it's also asking a question about that noun. That's why it's interrogative pronoun. It's interrogative pronoun in possessive case. By the way, houses shouldn't catch fire, but sometimes they do. बदनसीबी का मैं कायल तो नहीं हूं, लेकिन मैंने बरसात में जलते हुए घर देखे हैं. What makes you laugh? What is the subject of this sentence? The thing that makes you laugh was the subject. We don't know what that thing was. So we used this word what for that thing. to ask a question about that thing. It has been used, and that thing was a noun. So what has been used in place of a noun, and at the same time it's asking a question about that noun, so it's interrogative pronoun. We must remember that these words are called interrogative pronouns only when there is a direct question in them. Sometimes they are used in an interrogative sentence. There is a question in the sentence. There is a question mark at the end of the sentence, and yet they are not interrogative pronouns because the question in the sentence is elsewhere. It's not directly in these WH words. Let's take a look at the examples. Who has got a hole in his shirt? Who in this sentence is an interrogative pronoun because it's directly asking a question about the noun it has been used in place of. There is a direct question in this word, who. Compare the example with the next one. Did you see the man who has got a hole in his shirt? There is a question mark at the end. The sentence is an interrogative sentence, but who is not asking a question in this sentence. The question in the sentence is in the blue part. Did you see the man? That's the question. Who has got a hole in his shirt is only adding more information about the man. It has been used to identify the man. So, who is not an interrogative pronoun in this sentence because it's not asking a direct question. And if you translate the sentence, you'll find that it translates with Urdu letter Jim in the start. क्या तुमने उस आदमी को देखा जिसकी शर्ट में सुराख था, जिसकी कमीज में सुराख है. So you see, it even translates differently. So you need to be careful when WH words are used in indirect questions. When they are not used in direct questions, they are not interrogative pronouns. And now the difference between interrogative pronouns and interrogative adjectives. The difference between interrogative pronouns and interrogative adjectives is similar to the difference between relative pronouns and relative adjectives. Let's take a look at the examples. Whose school will open and whose will remain closed? We know that whose is the possessive case of who, and we also know that nouns and pronouns in possessive case function as noun modifiers. They modify the nouns, the possession of which they show. So it's possible to call whose in the first example, whose school, an interrogative pronoun because it has been used in place of a noun in possessive case and it's also asking a question about that noun. But it's also possible to call it an interrogative adjective because it has been used with a noun as a possessive case. The noun is school. It has been used with the noun school as the possessive case of a pronoun, so it's modifying the noun school. Whose school? It's not telling us, it's not showing the possession of this noun. It's asking a question about the possession of this noun, but the function or the role is the same. It's modifying this noun, school. So it's also possible to call whose an interrogative adjective in this phrase, whose school, because of its function. It's also a noun modifier. It's the choice of the paper setter which choice they give to you. They could give the choice in such examples. They could give the choice of interrogative pronoun or interrogative adjective. One of the two choices will be among the options. In the second example, whose will remain closed. It's impossible to call whose an interrogative adjective because now the noun is missing. It has been omitted. We have learned this concept in our previous lessons also, that in some of the types of pronouns, whenever the pronoun is used with a noun, it becomes an adjective, and whenever it takes the place of that noun, whenever the noun is omitted but understood, it becomes a pronoun. The sentence makes it clear that the second whose in yellow color means whose school will remain closed, but the word school is missing. This word whose has taken the place of that noun school also. That's why it's only interrogative pronoun. Calling it interrogative adjective will be wrong. In whose school, it's possible to call it both interrogative pronoun or interrogative adjective. In whose will remain closed, whose is interrogative pronoun only because the noun is missing. We have said this thing time and again that to modify a noun, the noun should be there. It has to be present. Let's take a look at the second example. Which medicine is for COVID-19 and which for malaria? It's a very similar example. In the first example, which medicine, which is interrogative adjective, and in the second example, which for malaria, which means which medicine. But the word medicine, which is a noun, it's missing. This word which in yellow color has taken the place of noun medicine. So which is interrogative pronoun, the second which, but the first which is interrogative adjective. There is a slight difference between these two examples. Basically, it will be wrong to call which in which medicine an interrogative pronoun, because when the noun has been mentioned with this word which, it should be called an interrogative adjective only. When you replace it with another word by making a simple answer to this question, you'll have to use an adjective, not a noun in place of which. Which medicine is for COVID-19? This medicine is for COVID-19, or that medicine is COVID-19, and this and that. In these examples are not nouns. They are demonstrative adjectives. So it proves that which in this phrase, which medicine, has been used in place of an adjective, not in place of a noun. That's why calling it an interrogative pronoun in this example, which medicine, will be technically wrong. But in the second example, where which is in yellow color, which is an interrogative pronoun, not an interrogative adjective, it has taken the place of noun medicine. This is the difference. Calling whose an interrogative pronoun in whose school is possible because it has been used in place of a noun in possessive case. Calling which in which medicine an interrogative pronoun is technically wrong because it has been used in place of an adjective, not a noun. That is the difference. But sometimes they don't bother about these differences. It's possible that you'll find such a sentence in a paper, which medicine, which road, which building, which will be underlined, and the option of interrogative adjective will be missing among the options, all the choices. So in such case, you'll go for the option of interrogative pronoun. Basically, it's wrong, but if you come across such a question and there is no option of interrogative adjective, then go for interrogative pronoun. Which medicine is for COVID-19 and which one for malaria? In both these examples, which is an interrogative adjective. In the first example, it's modifying the noun medicine. In the second example, the word one has been used in place of medicine. It's a pronoun, and which as interrogative adjective is modifying the pronoun one. Pronouns, just like nouns, can also be modified by adjectives. So this is all about the difference between interrogative pronoun and interrogative adjective. The basic tip is, whenever the noun is mentioned with these two words, whose and which, there is a question, direct question in whose and which, and a noun follows them. Then they are interrogative adjectives, and when they take the place of that noun, when the noun is omitted but understood, then they are interrogative pronouns. The next type is distributive pronoun. We learned them in combination with distributive adjectives. Distributive pronouns are used to refer to each individual in a group. They are words in a very limited number. We'll take a look at them in the examples. They are called distributive adjectives when they are used with nouns. The tip is the same, the simple tip. Whenever they are used with nouns, they are adjectives, and whenever they are not followed by nouns, they are pronouns. Let's have examples. Each student has an apple and an egg. This word each is a distributive adjective because it is followed by the noun student. Student is the subject of the sentence. It has been used with a noun, so distributive adjective. Compare it with the next example. Each of them wants to eat the egg. Whenever these words are followed by prepositional phrases starting with of, they are pronouns because the nouns or pronouns after the preposition of will be in objective case. They will be the objects of the preposition. They can't be in any other role. They can't be the subject of the sentence or the object of a verb, etc. In this sentence, for example, each is the subject. Each wants to eat the egg. Them can't be the subject. Number one, it's an objective case. They is the subjective case of this pronoun. So whenever it's used as the subject of a sentence, it's they, not them. Number two, it's plural. And whenever your subject is plural, you don't add s or es to the first form of the verb. So the very structure of the sentence proves that each is the subject of this sentence, not them. And its functioning as the subject of the sentence makes it a pronoun. We know that adjectives don't function as subjects and objects. It's the nouns and pronouns. Each means each student. So each is distributive pronoun. Either boy could not complete the task. Used with a noun. Boy is the subject of the sentence. Either has been used with a noun. So distributive adjective. Neither girl did her homework. Neither has been used with a noun. The noun girl follows this word neither, so neither is distributive adjective. Either of the technicians can solve this problem. Either is not being followed by a noun directly. It has been followed by a prepositional phrase starting with of. The noun technicians is the object of preposition of. It's an objective case. It can't be the subject of the sentence. Remember that a noun or a pronoun cannot be a subject and an object at the same time. So technicians is an objective case. It's the object of preposition of. It can't be the subject of the sentence. The subject is either can solve. So either is the subject. Either subject can helping verb solve main verb. So functioning as the subject makes it a pronoun. And we've already said that whenever these words will be followed by prepositional phrases, whenever there is no noun directly after them, they are pronouns. Sana and Sarah wanted to cross the river. Neither could do it. Neither is the subject of the sentence. Neither means Sana or Sarah. There is no noun directly after this word neither. So neither is distributive pronoun. Remember that whenever either is used in combination with or and neither is used in combination with nor, either or, neither nor, they are neither distributive pronouns nor adjectives. They are conjunctions in such situations. Either or and neither nor. They are coordinating conjunctions. They are correlative conjunctions. We'll talk about conjunctions later. For the time being, it's all about distributive pronoun and distributive adjective. And now, demonstrative pronoun. We'll be learning them in combination with demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative pronouns are used in place of nouns to refer to them or point towards them. They are also words in a limited number. And to find the difference between demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives, it's the same tip. Whenever these words are used with nouns to point towards them, they are demonstrative adjectives. And whenever they take the place of those nouns, but the function is the same, they still point towards those nouns, but they have also taken the place of those nouns, they become demonstrative pronouns. Let's take a look at the examples. Please don't do that. Do in this sentence is the verb. That is the object of this verb, do. That points towards something, a noun. But at the same time, it has been used in place of that noun. So, demonstrative pronoun. Those will never work. What's the subject of this sentence? It's those. So, being the subject of a sentence makes it a pronoun. It points towards a noun, but at the same time, it has taken the place of that noun, so it's demonstrative pronoun. Those is the subject, work is the verb. This is really fine. I like these. This is the subject of its sentence and these the object of verb like. Both these words are pointing towards certain nouns, but at the same time, they have taken the place of those nouns, so they are demonstrative pronouns. Such was her determination. What's the subject of this sentence? Such was linking verb, her determination, complement, SVC. So functioning as the subject of the sentence makes it a pronoun. The noun towards which this word such points is missing. It has been omitted. It has taken the place of that noun. That makes it demonstrative pronoun. That is a gun. That is the subject of this sentence. Is linking verb, a gun, complement. So, demonstrative pronoun. It's followed by a verb, not a noun. And that's the condition. Whenever these words will be followed by nouns immediately after them, there will be a noun. We'll call them demonstrative adjectives. These shoes are mine. Now the color has changed. Why? Because the role has changed. Now this word these has been used with a noun, shoes. Shoes is the subject of this sentence. These has been used with a noun to point toward it, so it's demonstrative adjective. Those boys are very sharp. Those comes with a noun boys, points toward this noun boys, so those is demonstrative adjective. Give me that hammer. Hammer is the noun with which this word that has been used to point toward it, so that is demonstrative adjective. This painting is really awesome. Painting is the noun and this is the adjective modifying this noun by pointing toward it, by referring to it, so demonstrative adjective. I don't like such attitude. So whenever such comes with a noun, it becomes demonstrative adjective. This is how you'll tell the difference between demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives. These are the words which are used as demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives, and the condition is whether they have been used with or without a noun. That's what makes them pronoun or adjective. And now the tail of pronouns, reciprocal pronoun. It's a tiny type. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. This is what happens in reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal is from reciprocate, which means to do something in return for something that was done to you and do it exactly the same way. This is what happens in reciprocal pronouns. One another and each other are called reciprocal pronouns as they are used in sentences where the action is reciprocated between two or more people or things. They are scratching each other's back. That's what reciprocal pronouns are. And now is the activity time. You have to tell which part of speech is the underlined word in each of the given sentences. I've included some questions from the topics we have covered before the topic of pronoun. I'll let each slide stay on screen from 4 to 5 seconds so that you can pause the video easily and attempt the questions. Let's move on. I hope you have done well. I hope you have attempted all the questions correctly. If you haven't, please go back, pause the video on each slide, attempt the MCQs, note down your answers, and then you can see the answer key. The answer key is following. And that's the end of the news for today. इसके बाद क्या हुआ ये मैं आपको बाद में बताऊंगा. अभी इस किताब में बहुत से पेजेस बाकी हैं.